Okay, let's get ready to start. I'm just going to get us set up here. Let's take off our banner. And let me say hello to everyone. I'm kind of flying solo tonight on this uh, live, but we're going to go over some FAQs that we have here at FinerWorks that are commonly asked questions. I'm going to show you also where on our site to find a lot of these answers. So let me get that up on there and add that to the stage. Here we go. First off, I want to make sure that everyone's aware. If you haven't, it's like one of the great Canvas sales that we see every now and then that pops up. You'll see this again come Cyber Monday. And that is the half off artisan canvas right now. That's 50% off. And if you take a look at our prices for our canvases, which I'm going to show you where to look at that, if you could either build a mock order or hit canvas up here in the top left and go to artisan canvas down here. We'll scroll down a little bit. And you can hit our price options here. And we have some of the common sizes that are ordered. Across the way here, you'll see the different backing options. You'll notice also that we have the new hanging styles here with the hanging canvas. So it's just two pieces that actually hold taut your canvas and stretch it out kind of like a scroll. If you don't see the size you have here, and I think we go all the way up to right there, 40 by 60. And you'll see there's some canvas print frequently asked questions. But should you not see the size you want on there, just custom size here and add in whatever strange size you might need. And we'll go ahead and do something odd like that. And you'll see it up here at the top. Okay. Our prices also vary by quantity as well. So right now we have the 50% off this one. But in some cases, you might, let's say if you were at, it has to be the same image. Let's say, for instance, that you were doing something along the line of, oh, you know what? Hold on. Just making sure I'm not seeing our stream kind of play out here. Just want to double check that and make sure we are heading up here live. Okay, we are. Just being kind of weird here on YouTube. Let me make sure. If you're watching on YouTube, maybe in the comments, go ahead and put your Instagram or something like that. Let me just double check this because I'm not seeing it pop up on here. See the streaming, but I'm not seeing not seeing my thing on here. So let me try something quite else. I just want to make sure that we are live well. Let me see. I still see I'm still kind of just seeing our thumbnail with the scrolling text. I know it's streaming out, but I'm not seeing anything else on here. So let me just double check our settings. And see if we are in fact showing live. Let's see. I'm going to check our Facebook options in here too. Okay, I see us on Facebook. I'm not seeing us for whatever reason on YouTube right now. Let me just double check that. I think it might just be taking a while to catch up. Okay, I see it partially coming up. Hopefully that is not an issue, but hopefully that's just my phone. So like I said, you can go ahead and check out any of our prices right here. And like I said, we have volume discounts. In some rare cases, a volume discount might supersede a discount, being given in an offer, which is a question we have a lot. And in that case, you would get that now. Right now, with a 50% off, that's going to be the best one, and it's going to be on on a single print there. So you want to make sure that right now, if you're doing any large canvases, this is a great time to put those orders in. You're going to get 50% off of those. And it's a great time to try a product like Canvas if you haven't ever before and put your media on it. and see how it looks to you. But you'll see those go in there, and it's going to be a great time to try that product. And we'll have that probably again around Cyber Monday. So make sure to watch that. Now let's go back to our front page. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Going to be trying to watch both screens at the same time. So let me pop that up one more time there for us. And more than likely, like I said, this one, we kind of, I want to say, really November just got here on us really quick. We're starting to get Christmas orders in. Um, so I expect shippings to go ahead and start to have a little longer. Production time might start to get a little longer. So be wary of the turnaround times. And you can also find those down at the bottom of our site. You look right here at turnaround times. Remember that delivery is turnaround time plus shipping time, which you will find under shipping rates. So you need those two items. So paying for overnight doesn't necessarily mean that you have paid for overnight production and overnight shipping. That's not quite how that works. And that is a question we get kind of frequently because we have a lot of people who will call or email in saying that they paid for overnight shipping and their product isn't there. That's because it also is going to take the normal turnaround time. You're just paying to kind of shorten the shipping time when you're doing those. So make sure when you're doing your orders that you kind of think about that on your thing. So we have a lot of people who are going to try come Christmas to have something there Christmas Day. Um, and they're going to order the on Christmas Eve or something like that. I'm going to tell you that's just not it's not going to happen. Okay, and you're going to see order deadlines start to come out for. I'm just going to double check our volume on here and see because I keep seeing something else on our basically our live channel over here. Okay, I just want to double check our on our. There we go. Just double checking. I think I see what it was on YouTube. It was replaying from the start, so it had the delay. Okay, and if you have questions, again, just use the chat feature on our uh, Facebook page if you're watching there, the live chat feature on YouTube. Okay, so that's going to be, I want to show you guys where you can find a lot of the frequently asked questions because a lot of your questions we've answered. We know them because being in the business over 20 years, you're kind of anticipate these. And if you go onto our website, click on support. That's that top right section. And then hit FAQs. And I'll get that. I think, yeah, it's loading. Okay. And here's a list of our FAQs. And you can kind of either search them with that search bar that you just saw, or if you're like me, I just control F and search on a page, right? So sometimes they want to ask about, let's say, paper types. Let's see, what type of paper and canvas do you have? Okay, that might be one of it. There's like 26 questions or 26 places where what paper would go on. So what type of canvas art paper do you use? What type of paper do you use for your fine art cards? What type of paper do you use for your fine art cards? We covered that. Fine art papers. Which paper is best for my artwork or photography? I want to say this is the first question that we get a lot of the time. And this, I always tell people, this is like telling somebody what should be their favorite cake. It's going to be very personable on what you decide you like, what you're trying to present with your fine art papers. Your presentation of your fine art prints, sometimes you want them either as close as exact to the original media. That could be one type of way you want to go. And sometimes people want to go ahead and say, I'm going to give something completely different to my fine art prints, something that differentiates them from the original and makes them just as special. In some cases like that, there's sometimes, and again, depending on the media and what the image looks like. For instance, somebody might have a collage piece, kind of like Caldrick, who works here in our canvas department, and it's been neat to kind of work with him as an artist. And he presents kind of a multimedia presentation with collage for his originals that go on I think it's a 30 by 40 canvas. And when we made the prints and we got into paper prints for that, I asked him to take a look at the Hammermill Photorag metallic paper. I thought the way it brought out like it kind of made the browns almost like a copper. It gave it almost a metal looking feel to it. And I thought it added something special, which does differentiate it from the original pieces being mounted to canvas. So when we started photographing those and shooting them, that was something we looked at. Now, with people starting in, they ask, what's, I don't want to, they say, I don't want to say cheap paper, but the way I would say the most economical paper that we offer is actually our archival matte paper. And the archival matte paper is also based to two other paper options that we have, the linen and the canvas paper. So I'm going to show you those really quick. Let me open up another tab. And let's take a look here on fine art papers. And we're going to scroll down just a little bit. And there's our archival matte paper here. You'll see it first listed here. The ICC profiles are also on each paper. So if you're really into that color matching, that's part of the thing that you want to download to your computer to start in that matching process, as well as calibrating your monitor. So like I said, there's that one. There's archival canvas and archival archival canvas and archival linen right here. And those are going to give you a nice texture to your thing. It's a little, I think there's not much of a price difference in these when you look at them. Let's come back up here. Archival matte, we'll look at that price option. Okay, let's say for an 8x10, we're looking at about $8. And then let's look at that archival canvas. And you'll see that 8x10 is also $8. And then the last one I was talking about, archival linen paper. And that is also showing at $8. So those are all going to be most economical that you're going to have. There's a nice textured paper. And it's a nice, I want to say, white color to add as a base right there. Because remember, printers don't print white. Whatever the white of your paper is what's going to be showing through. So that's one reason your paper white is important to you. And the best way to take a look at these and deciding what what paper you should use is come on to here, go to under all products, go down to samples, and it says order our sample kit. This will give you all of our papers, our canvas media, and our greeting or our cardstock media as well. And you can include the different metal types in here if you want to add dye bond metal, or if you want to add the HD metal samples onto there, you can do that as well. These also come with a $20 gift card for your next order. So, just to kind of help offset that cost a little bit there. But this would be the best way to go ahead and take a look at our media and decide what you want to print on. And I'm going to go one back. I'm going to say here in our FAQs, let's see, we have about how to go ahead and place an order. But before you even start all of this with us, the one thing to go ahead and have the best quality prints is going to start with your image preparation. That means on how you capture your art, whether you're having it photographed or how you have it scanned. And there's different options to capturing your art. And I think a lot of people, they have a hard time with that. So finding somebody, if you cannot do this yourself, finding a good resource to do that uh, is a great option. And there's a lot of different cities that have it. Sometimes you want to look under, people who do photograph art. There's scanners that have up to, I believe, 5 feet by 6 feet scanners. Some places may do smaller size scanners. Large format scanners are really hard to come by as far as finding a business that has them. Sometimes Blueprint places might have them for large paper. These are kind of a roller scanner sometimes. So a flatbed scanner that big, you might find some that are about 18 by 20 at some places. And what they will do is scan your art in section and stitch it together, probably using Photoshop or Lightroom with the photo merge tool that's available in there. So that's going to be the first thing, is capturing that. Remember that printers print at 300 DPI. And to kind of help you with that is just to remember that basically that's a dot per inch. So 300 dots in 1 inch. So if we go here and we take a look at that, it's basically going to be 1 inch is going to equal 300 pixels. Kind of think of it that way. Let me see. I'm going to get my spreadsheet to come up right here. Now I'll increase the size on this. So 1 inch equals 300. So when you're trying to figure out, let's say you have access to only your, how many pixels, because when you load up to FinerWorks, you're going to see your pixel resolution there, or your pixel dimensions. And I'll see some people, okay, it's 1400 or 1200, let's say 1200. And you divide that by 300. Okay, well, that is 4 inches um, optimally. But our printers have a AI into it that basically it adds dots. If you even load up, I want to say 150, that's about as comfortable as I am on a DPI when I've done this. And honestly, I use a flatbed scanner right here in my office. And some of you who are local have come by and I've scanned a few things in for you, because it's a small Epson business, kind of all in one scanner. And scanners scan at 1200 DPI. So what's great is when I go lay out something in Photoshop and I put, an 8 by, well, let's say I put like a 20 by 30 in there, and I have it at 300 DPI. That's what I do, is I first create that board so that I'm working in whole inches, because that's the other frequently asked question that we get at um, FinerWorks, our print sizes. And the thing is, we print in whole inches, okay? So this is where you want to make sure none of your details, like your signature, your name, or you're cropping off a part of a face. Some people have an eye coming close to the edge, but maybe they want that iris showing just right there. So you want to make sure those details are not so close to the edge. And then you want to go ahead and, like I said, create a new document in Photoshop, and it will be like 20 by 30 at 300 DPI. I open it. I open my file for the image that I captured is another tab, and I copy paste it into that other board, just so I make sure I'm not having to scale up or um, anything that's going to chop it off. It's in the right aspect ratio. Another question we will get to. Um, and that's something you want to have on there so that you can see where the whole inches are. I save it and I put it in. I scan in TIFF mode, just to let you know. That's how I prefer to grab those scans, is in TIFF, because I feel like there's a lot less color adjustments I have to do than when I scan as a JPEG. Now, once I put that scan into that new artboard and I have it all set, 300 DPI, and it's an RGB mode, um, I might save it as a JPEG there and load it up. And I have to ask James on this, on what the conversions happen in there in color quality. I have not seen it. I guess it's very slight that I have not noticed it with the naked eye viewing a print. Uh, this is my notes here, so you'll see a couple of things on here. Let's go to aspect ratios because I said this is not on our frequently asked questions, although I think it should be. Maybe we can put this chart up for you guys. Sometimes we'll get somebody who wants to load up an image, and let's say it is set for 24 by 30, right? That's a 5:4 aspect ratio. We'll look at it right here. Let me increase the size here for you. Let's see if I can bring that up. Okay, so it's a 24 by 30 on here, and you can see under 24 by 30 going scaling down. Sizes like 16 by 20 and 8 by 10, which are common frame sizes, are going to be in there. The thing is, people sometimes, well, I like 11 by 14 frames. That's its own aspect ratio over here, right? So, and I have to, and the best way to do this is probably go into Photoshop and scale down where you keep your sides and everything even to see what the thing, because I believe it'll be like, let's say we did that as a 13 by, oh, I'm trying to think what that would be. I think that would be 13 by 20, might be scaling up on here, but it's like 20.765, something along that. It's not a whole number when you do your scaling in an 11 by 14 aspect ratio. So know that. So what you're going to have here is basically from a 5:4 to an 11 by 14, you're going to have a longer rectangle. Let's put that right? So then what are you going to fill that rectangle in with? You can either zoom in the image so that it fills the entire frame, or if you scroll out, what you'll have is blank space. So there is some, difference in that. So you want to make sure if you're going to be doing prints and you want to offer a series of sizes, I recommend staying in aspect ratio. You can go ahead, but I said if you do different sizes that are different aspect ratios, I would say make your 5:4 print at your 24 by 30. From that 24 by 30, file, you're going to be able to make a 16 by 20, an 8 by 10, a 5 by 4 without losing anything on the sides. So that's going to stay and keep your prints there. And if you want to do this 11 by 14 offer or 5 by 7, you might want to go ahead and do the aspect ratio so that you can kind of see where your sides are going to go and upload it. Because after you upload an image, it's using our scaling tool is not the best option. Really doing any edit is best to do in Photoshop before you upload. So this is something that, maybe we should add to our FAQs because I think a lot of y'all need this chart. It's something we ask a lot about, get asked about, when people are getting ready to print. I hope that isn't confusing, but if it is, just, send me a comment or send me an email and I'll gladly help you with that. The other thing, let's go ahead and take a look at, get us back over here. Let's go look at uploading your images. I'm going to make sure I am logged out. Okay, we'll log into something I know I might have some prints on. Okay, let me go into one of my many, many accounts that I have. As I work with different artists and I work with different photographers on loading up stuff. So your files in FinerWorks can be in 2 storage locations, right? Which are actually 2 different, just 2 different servers. One is our temporary files and our permanent ones here. So I'm going to get this in here. Let me get under here. You'll see temporary and inventory storage. Inventory storage is going to be a little more permanent. These are good for the life of your account. Temporary storages are purged after a year. So we'll go into inventory storage because I want to show you a few places that you're going to find information on our site. So let me get this going. I'll see if I can get my screen a little bigger here. Okay. So let's say we go look at this. We're going to take a look in here. When you upload your images, just hitting that product is going to bring you into your image setting tabs right here. It's going to give you a lot of information. First thing it's going to give you is your file dimensions right here. This is the pixels, and I told you could divide those by 300, right? So 60 would be about 20 inches. 6,000 divided by 300 would be about 20 inches up there. And let me just make sure I am doing my math right. 3,900, and we'll divide that by 300, and that will equal 13. Okay, that's like a weird image size, but that would be its whole thing, and I would want to scale down from that. And again, when you get into different aspect ratios, sometimes it's better to use that scaling tool in Photoshop, because the odder the aspect ratio, the more uncommon the aspect ratio is. It's kind of hard to figure out what your size prints are going to be unless you've done some scaling and because let's go ahead and make, instead of making this as a print, I will make this as a product. Our product virtual inventory is great to have because let's say you're doing something like order fulfillment with us. You're basically going to have these all the time. You already have them set. You're not going to build the print every time you come in and do this. So we'll create like a new item, which is going to take you to our print online tool here, the post. And that stands for print online setup tool. So let's say we're just doing papers. Okay, and I said this was 20 by 13, I believe. Let me make sure. We'll just pick archival map. We're going to do borderless just to make it easy for this. So I'm going to do a custom size on here. So I said that was 20 by 13. And we're going to see, okay, I didn't lose anything on the borders right here. And if you hit that crop tool on the left, right here, you're going to see this, the outside is red and this inside is green. Now, the green is just basically kind of giving you a guide of this is where you want all your most important things on. You won't get any cropping or trimming. You want to make sure your signature is within that green line. This is going to help you. Remember how I was talking about scaling on our site? This is what we have here. I do not recommend using that though. Leave that at 100. Any scaling you've got to do, go ahead and do that in Photoshop, okay? Let me just put that back down to 800. Let's see if I can scale. Oh, I'm having a hard time with that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get out of this. I'm not going to save anything on here. So I just want to get back out. Let me see if I can. I will save changes. So with that kind of shows you at least where to go ahead and have your print. That green to red line does not mean that it's going to get chopped off all by there. It's just that it's saying it's very close to our trimmer. Make sure the important stuff's within that green thing on here. Now, let's say I did something weird that was not in this aspect ratio. Let's say I decided I wanted this as a 1-to-1 aspect ratio. So let's say I brought this in 13, update, which is going to make it a square. See how I lost those sides? Lost some of the top. Let's go back into that crop right here so you can see the green. Now I can kind of at least play around with this and move it because I have all of this room side to side because I made this a square. Again, I would not use the scaling tool like that. I would stay at the 100% that it is, and not mess with that because then you risk hitting, like this is getting some white now you see at the bottom because I'm not at 100%. Okay. So that's one reason you don't want to kind of give your print sizes different sizes if you're not, it's more important to stay really in that aspect ratio of print sizes so that you kind of make sure you're getting the same thing as you scale down or as you scale up. So that's just something to note when you're going ahead and doing your paper sizes or what size you should offer. And that's something we get a lot of questions on. Sometimes people are like, well, I don't know what other sizes I should give. Whatever sizes you give, like I said, sometimes people are saying they want to find stuff that fits in common frames that you would find at, Target, uh, TJ Maxx, something along that. Like you could just go buy a store-bought frame and fit it in here. That's why I have some of these highlighted. Those are basically the store-bought frame sizes. So you'll see even a 5x7, really aspect ratio as you scale up and down, they're not going to be common sizes. To stay in like 20x30, for instance, if you wanted to give out other prints of that, it wouldn't be an 8x10, it would be an 8x12. So those might get little, messed up. So I suggest, so far, I think the 5:4 aspect ratio is a good one because I see 24x30 frames. Those are not hard to get. But that's really the only reason people have a thing on what sizes to offer is some people feel that they should have something that anybody can go buy a frame for. With FinerWorks, though, you can go ahead and offer um, a print, a framed print. You can go ahead when you're done doing all of this here, you can hit frame and matte choices. And again, this is just like the paper question. We'll get what is the most common, frame you get on here. You'll see these ones here. So starting at $14 each. Let me see if I can get down. The one I prefer and love are going to be from our gallery, Contemporary. I like the Alto Black. There is a more economical option to that, but I like the Black Thick Alto. It's just a really great frame, and it's contemporary looking. It goes in almost anybody's house, but it is also a very durable frame, and it doesn't look cheap. Like I said, it doesn't have this plasticky feel. You can see the wood grain in here. You can click on these here if you want to see more information on them. And I'll look at this 360 views of here. So you can see that nice wood grain in the Alto Black here. So for me, I would choose this and order the frame. Then you're asked to decide if you want to put a mat around this. I like mats because I like them keeping uh, the print away from the glazing, whether that be glass or acrylic. So I tend to still like at least a snow white mat or something in there to kind of keep it. Now, this is at 15x15 on here, so I believe that is a let's see, I think we made this 13x13 print, 15x15. That gives it an inch around, but you can go ahead and add more to that. Let's say we did 2 inches around, which would be 17 by 17. Okay. And then the glazing, we have different options too. Premium clear is going to be your most economical choice on there. It has a lot of glare. It doesn't have any UV protectant on it. Personally, I mean, the UV protection on there remember that your print and your ink and your media on there are already UV. They're archival. They're going to be good for a great while as long as you're not putting them in direct sunlight for 30-40 years. They should be fine. But like I said, I like to go with reflection control. I kind of trust the quality of our inks and papers. So the preservation under there, I'm not as concerned with on the glazing. My thing is reflection control gives this really clear look of your art or your photograph under there without glare. So there's nothing distracting. And this is great, ready to hang. And I guarantee you, with that reflection control, people start to notice, like, wow, this is a really good frame. It doesn't look like the other frames in my household because of that reflection control glazing. They start to notice how straight on you can see the image on there. So I think it's always a really good option on there. I think if you're going to do some of this framing, spend a little extra to get on here. Let's take a look at the difference. Right now it's a 110 frame, 107 if you go the cheapest route. Just add the little more just to give yourself that differentiation of your frame print, because they're going to notice it when they hang it. Um, so to me, that's what I would do on here and what I like to select on there. So now that that is all set in there, let me go ahead and see if I saved everything back. Yeah. So here it is there, and I would save this to inventory again so I can sell it repeatedly without having to rebuild this every time I want to make an order for somebody and having it just slightly skewed or anything. It's, I know what the image is going to look like time after again. I've set it up. So I save these to inventory. I won't do that right now just because we're just kind of going through some of these as examples rather than I need to get this work done. So another but frequently asked question we go on here. Let's go with our top. If at the bottom, go ahead and switch down here. The top ones that we have here, top questions. Okay. How long has FinerWorks been in business? And like I said, over 20 years, guys. And let's like I said, we first began using the word or the company name FinerWorks in 1999. Our company name is FinerWorks in 2003. So this year we've been in business like as FinerWorks 20 years, but we have a few years before that where James was running FinerWorks as canvas printing. So we've had, I want to say he's grown really with the technology. I personally have been with him about 6 years. Uh, and I found FinerWorks completely on a fluke. I work for a local artist here who had me researching about. I think we probably looked at 13 different drop ship printers, um, and we found FinerWorks right here. So literally went to go put an order in, and then I really liked it. I liked how their customer service treated us. I liked how how they how they handled any kind of refunds or damage in shipping. And I just looked and happened to see that they had a production job open, and I went into canvas production here. At that time, we used to be trained on all of the different stations, but I kind of fell into canvas for a while and kind of did social and still have been staying here really because I can recommend these to other friends of mine that are artists, who are photographers, who are trying to put on their shows, who are trying to make an extra income from their prints. Um, you got to kind of believe in what you are selling. Because again, I'm part of our local art community. So I kind of have to make sure this is not going to be something that um, ever blows back negatively. So I found FinerWorks to be a really reputable company, um, and something I never minded really promoting to other people to use. So I basically have a job where I get to work in with a company that I believe in, and I like their products. So I have no problem kind of saying that this is something I really think you should do or build up to. With virtual inventory, that really lets you uh, get to the point where you can kind of uh, build your prices as you go up, and you can start on an economical paper, and then as your art career grows, build into more expensive papers. And I keep doing that. Here we go. Let me see our next question on here. Um, Why is my print dark? This is something we get a lot of, and this goes back kind of in that calibration card that you're going to get in your sample kit. Um, there's two ways to think about this. I mean, I guess I hadn't really thought about it, because as digital art, graphic designs took off, um, working with a screen, right, to do that, you never think about it, but it is backlit. It's lit from behind, shining this way. Whereas when you get to paper and it's printed out, that print is really dependent on the light you shine onto it. So if you set something kind of dark so that it shows on this bright screen of yours, when you print it, it's going to come out kind of dark. Again, then it's also going to matter on where your customer ends up hanging it. I've seen graphic designers, artists, photographers scrutinize hours on getting this just the right, brightness to their prints. They get it and they sell it to a customer who has, let's say, like a steakhouse, a lounge, a cigar lounge, and it is so dimly lit that you really start to lose a lot in there. Um, and I think about all the hours that they spent trying to get that corrected and looking perfect. It's going to matter on the light on it too. Um, James here has generally, unless professionally calibrated, computer monitors are going to be very bright. Tablets and mobile devices display images with evaluated brightness and contrast. These settings mislead people into believing their images are brighter than they usually are. And then there is, if you click on this, read more. There, James has other blogs kind of going on this to help it. But yeah, just what he's saying there. Um, that is going to be a lot of it. So remember, getting your monitor calibrated is going to help. That little calibration sheet that we include in the sample kit is going to be, again, most economical way to kind of eyeball it and do it. You could invest in a spider, which is a device that will sit on your screen and kind of calibrate it. I use a laptop. I use a Windows Surface Pro, and James has calibrated my screen a couple of times here for me. But again, as James is mentioning in that thing, is that the device display has that evaluated brightness, and if I go to one room to another, it changes the brightness of my screen, which throws my stuff all off for me when I'm doing the brightness on images. So I still will do the first image and do one test print and see how it comes out. Um, and I may not do the whole thing. Sometimes I go ahead and make, like, let's say my image is made for a 20 by 30. I might go make another new window with all of the same parameters, but only the size is different, maybe 5 by 7, 300 DPI, RGB, and then I'll go back to my original image and select with a selection tool a section of it that'll fit 5 by 7. So I might do like 7 by 8. I'll go get that and drop it in on that 5 by 7. And I will not scale at all. I'm just going to leave right there the section that I want to use to evaluate maybe this 20 by 30. I'll print that out at FinerWorks. Like I'll go ahead and upload the file. It says like test print of this, and I'm just taking a section of that print, so I don't have to maybe pay as much money of the 20 by 30. And I'll check it and go off of that little testing strip and kind of twerk any kind of colors. I still will do, once I feel it's right, I might do one print as a 20 by 30 and sell it as an AP, which is an artist proof. And I'll sell that probably even sometimes more than just the opus editions, because maybe I'll do AP a 10, so you get 10 APs on there. Uh, do that kind of as a closed edition, and then do the rest as open edition prints. But the APs, sometimes people place more value on it. The AP is definitely signed by the artist on there. So that's some ways to kind of look at getting your test prints done without, investing. There's people who really want to go big, but they're really nervous about, you know, I want to do this for 100 images. Doing the little 5x7 might work, or again, doing the 100 images as you know, after you've done some of the edits and you put them up, and you can say, okay, I'm going to order a few here, a few here. Like I said, that first uh, week after Thanksgiving, the Cyber Monday sale. I believe that is going to be on Canvas. Anything, believe you get the next one, next following day would be, you know, that thing that starts at 50%, then 40% off is, I think, maybe papers the next day. Um, that's a good time to go ahead and try. When you see those sales come on for the papers, go ahead and try that. Make as many of your AP prints as you want to get done during that time frame. That'll help you save some money, get your test print, and also have something valuable to sell that test print with. So you're not going to lose money. You'll make some money on this. So sell it for your increased amount as an AP, just so that you can say, okay, I've tested this out. I might tweak it a little more, and then do another AP, 2 of 10 now, and you can sell that one off as well. But that's, again, if you want to do a full, you need to see it as a 20 by 30 or whatever your largest size is, versus maybe a test strip, which I like to do, because I just need to have like an idea of my white, and then from the white, everything else kind of falls into place. So that's one way to do that. So another question that we get quite often is, what if I'm not happy with my print? And this is one thing, again, this was something that pulled me into FinerWorks as a customer before I came as an employee. Um, and says, just basically contact us within 30 days at our customer care at finerworks.com, after you've placed your order. And if you're unhappy with your print, our first goal is going to be to help you get a satisfactory replacement, right? We're going to say, okay, would you like a credit? And want to go upload a new file and make the print, and then you can apply the credit to that. If that is not an option, you have 30 days money back guarantee. We'll give you your money back. We may ask, just so we don't have to have so much paper and time of things going back and forth. Digitally, we'll just sometimes tell you, can you make a big X through the print? And so we know it's not going to be, used, and we can say it's damaged and classified as damaged. That may be something customer service will tell you to do. And then we'll get that replacement out to you, or your refund out to you. So that's going to be one of the things on here. Same thing when you're doing these is drop ship. If something happens in transit, like, even though we have done as much as we can to protect everything going out, we cannot control the vendors that we use for transit, right? USPS, UPS. Um, but if something happens in transit, you kind of just have your customer send you pictures. Tell them, can you please send me some pictures of your box of, what happened, and send those to us. We're going to send a replacement out at our own expense, basically. And all you're going to do is provide us the pictures. On the back end side, maybe we can make a claim work. Doesn't usually happen that way. But, that is one thing that we're committed to, is to making sure that your customers and that you get a print that you're, very happy with and you're proud to hang in your home. Okay. Here's the thing, is like, why is my order not showing up in my order history? For those of you who are new, you can go, I hit account here. Let me go ahead and account dashboard here so you can see everything. This is when you've created an account, you're signed in, you have your order history. I don't think this account has an order to it, but we will check. Oh, it might. No. Okay. So on here, you'll be able to see your order history. It will have where it was shipped to, the order number, what the items were, a tracking number, all of that stuff will be here. But if you're not seeing it on here, that could be that you just made the order while you were not logged in, to FinerWorks. And if you just give us the order number, or like I said, if you're like, well, I don't have the order number, your email, we'll try and find that for you, and we will tie it to your account. That way you can see that in there. Because there's sometimes you may want to order the same item from a previous order and need to refer back to it. Also for tracking, you can get your tracking to pass to a customer if you're not doing a drop ship per se, but you're actually, you're having it sent, and these are maybe once in a great while you actually ship an order out. So you're not using an integration or anything like that, but you might need that tracking number. So everything would be there in your order history. But if you don't see it there, contact us at customercare@finerworks.com as with as much information. So I think I ordered it off of using this email, and let us know date, something along those lines, just to help us find it. Okay, how to start creating virtual inventory. Okay, we kind of went over that in that last question where I was showing you how I built inventory there. I just didn't save it, and you saw how you were able to access that. Um, our drop shipping and order fulfillment service is free, and that is yes, because all you're basically doing is when you go ahead and check out is you're going to mark that it is drop ship, so that we don't put uh, we're basically going to print out a packing slip rather than an invoice, so it won't have your pricing on there. FinerWorks offers free drop shipping services to all customers. um, it can be selected at checkout, or selected automatically if you have a business registered within your account and have uploaded a logo. So that's like if you're using us as your fulfillment partner, and we're doing the drop shipping for you. There's the business profile um, on here. Let's go back again to account. Let's go back to account dashboard. There is your regular profile here, right? And then your business profile. These two things need to be filled out here, guys. So that way you can get ready to start doing drop shipping. Oops, wrong thing here. Okay. Do you offer custom frame sizes or just standard frame sizes? Uh, like I said, we're able to make custom frame sizes. You could have that 13 by, 26 or something like that for weird panoramic. We can frame those on there. Now, remember, our prints are whole inches. Um, and I believe we can go into certain fractions of an inch on our framing. And to see that, let's go here. We'll go up into frames. And so you do not necessarily have to buy a print to get a frame. You can order just the frame itself. So you can do here, frames. Let's go into the contemporaries, Alto Black. Let me get in there. And you can see here you get these options of fractions. So that is for our framing. Let's see. Where are the custom frames made? They are made here in San Antonio, Texas, at our facility here at FinerWorks. So they are made by us here. Where are custom frames made? Okay, can packaging slips show my business information instead of my billing info? The answer is yes. Again, it's back in that business profile. You'll add that information on there. Can I store images I frequently print? And the answer is yes. And we went through that just a little bit ago when we were looking at the inventory storage and where we were building inventories. Other things that we get on here are the files size and kind of uploading the files. These are the questions that we frequently get asked about. How can I avoid cropped image, which we were talking about with the aspect ratio? It will be up to you to select a print size that complements your image current aspect ratio. If your image file does not quite match those dimensions, it will be cropped to accommodate the print size selected. This can result in part of your image file being cropped. be sure you pay attention to the real-time preview when you set up your print. If any of your print, if any part of of it looks cropped, then you can either choose a different size of a print or adjust your image file to fit accordingly. So that goes back to what we were saying about um, basically having your files ready to go before you upload them. Okay. Um, why won't my image upload? Now, many of y'all have been sending this lately, and I'll give you also some other stuff on here. In most cases, if you do not see any sort of upload tool, it is because either Flash is not running in your browser and HTML5 is not supported. Those of you who are running on much older computers. This is usually fixed by updating your web browser. If you do not see any uploading interface, but nothing happens when clicking the add files or upload button, this is also usually fixed by updating your web browser. And you can read more about that by clicking the read more. And James has a blog on it. We are also, just FYI, for 2024, we're going to have some major updates going on to our website to hopefully make it a little better for you as you do files that you're uploading and making prints from. So right now you might get some error messages and stuff like that. I would go ahead and suggest at this time that if you get that error message that's on there, give it a little bit. Maybe come back within the hour and try to re-upload. Just to make sure, on the back end, maybe developers are working or site maintenance is going on. There's going to be quite a bit of site maintenance probably going on as we get ready, because next year we will hopefully have something that's going to be a huge improvement for our website and for you working on our website. So we're hoping that that is going to offset some of the uncomfortableness of right now just running into an error messages. But there are also image file sizes that I think our cap is at. I'm sure it's here. We'll go back and I'll recheck that. I had it on the top of my head and now I forgot. Why does my image look blurry in order preview? Sometimes when you upload a very high resolution file, it is possible the preview will come out blurry. That happens because we are using a smaller embedded thumbnail data with your image file rather than generating a preview from your high resolution file. It is done as a failback method if it appears generating the preview from the high resolution file will take too long. So basically, so we can load the pages faster, a lower resolution file is shown as a preview. So that doesn't mean that's what it's going to look like. It's just what we're trying to get. Remember, pages load. Remember how we were talking about printers printing at 300 dpi? Images usually are 72 dpi on the web. Okay. So that's to help with how fast pages load for you. Let's see. Are files best sent as print quality file extensions, or is the 300 dpi resolution just fine? Best print quality is between 200 and 300 dpi. And if you go in here, there's the thing says uploading files. That's a good one to go ahead and read if you're having some issues. When uploading vector artwork, is it best sent as a PDF or rasterized JPEG file format? Rasterized PNG, JPG, or TIFF files are necessary if your file is a PDF or vector file, such as CorelDRAW or Adobe Illustrator. Please convert it. Okay, so that way you can have those. Those are the things that we are set. You also want to make sure that your file is not set at CMYK. You want it RGB. So note that when you're doing your files or converting them, that you have checked your colors once you've made that conversion. Let's see. I uploaded a very high resolution file for a large print. How come the preview looks blurry? Okay, we just went over that one. Um, should I enlarge my file before I upload it? Absolutely not. We prefer you upload your file before it is enlarged. Uh, Not to say you cannot do this, but to do so might result in poor quality. And this is what I was talking about when I tell you I set up my file like at the highest print that I'm going to do, and I take the scan and I set it up for that, and I make my smaller prints from it. You didn't when I do that, when I copy the print over into the new um, artboard, and I want to see what I usually want to make sure I'm scaling down, because if you scale up, that isn't adding anything to your prints. It's like taking I want to say like a cheese slice, pre-slice, and then you're going to stretch it. You're not adding the cheese. You're just stretching it out and making holes basically. Um, which then have to be filled. So sometimes that doesn't really get you the most sharpest image that you're going to want. You might get this blurry pixelated look to it. So it's better to put your files, like I said, I have mine set for print ready. Like this is what it's going to come out as. I know if I view that at 100% and I look at it, that's the detail I'm going to find on it. Caldric, if you want to send him a message, can even tell you how nuts I am when I'm trying to do that and trying to get a really sharp print off of something. I'll be, man, I'm not liking that. I really want to change it. I think it could be sharper. Let me reshoot it. Let me scan it again. These will be some things I will see. If I've done everything perfect, I will make sure off of that one large size, it looks good. And that's what I will upload. But do not stretch your art to fit the file. Like that's like going and right clicking and finding an image online, and then you say, I want it 20 by 30 of that. And you go put it into a 20 by 30, you've copied it, and you get into the board, and it's about an inch by inch big. Okay. You take that inch by inch and try to stretch it out to the 20 by 30, it's not going to look good. I don't care that you now have all of the file with the dots. It's empty dots, basically. So it won't look good. Resizing your image will not make it look better. It has to be captured at high quality to have what's going to come out. So sometimes if that is not your forte, if that is not something that it's in your toolbox, I suggest going ahead and getting a photographer or graphic designer that knows how to work with digital files and capture your art, and have them do that, and just add that fee that they're charging into the original or into the pricing of your prints, right? That you're going to go ahead and get that back. Okay, again, should my image be in RGB or CMYK? I know most printers, especially commercial printers, will be CMYK. With us, it's going to be RGB. What file type does FinerWorks require? We do like I said earlier, JPEG, PNG, BMP, and TIFF. Can I download my stored high-res image in FinerWorks? Okay, let me see if it has it. Yes. Okay, good. Because for a long time we had that as a no. But if you go into, I'll show you how to do this. Yes, the image was saved in your inventory files, right? From here, you can find under each image or file you've saved, create downloadable link. For a small fee of $1.50. Let me show you what that means. So again, we'll go into our account dashboard. You can hit it right here. I just want to show you from the account dashboard. Go back into your inventory storage. See down here at the bottom, and I'll enlarge this just so you can see it. It says create downloadable link. You can click on that. And what you would do here, again, is just go ahead and act how many days you want that link to be accessible. And then you could send that you'll check out, and then you'll be able to get that link and send that to a client that you're going to let them make their own print with. Um, Remember to hit that acknowledge the downloadable link created are non-refundable. Uh, but that's only in the inventory storage. In your temporary storage, you won't be given that option. These are temporary storage, basically goes away after a year. It's on a completely different server. Link would be different. And we have no really good way of converting those over. You can't transfer files from that storage area to this storage area for inventory. So it has to be uploaded. And I have a lot of people who've contacted us over the years about trying to retrieve files. For a long time, we did not offer that even in inventory storage because, again, we had to get either James or somebody who has all the account information to get in, search the accounts, and then it was not an easy process as to just pull one image. Just like if you have, think if you had, millions of images on your computer and, kind of coming up of which ones are going to be stored for what person. You're seeing these as file names and not as images. It's a lot of work. So this process lets us make it at least your files available to you as long as they're saved on the inventory um, in your inventory storage. Let's see. How do I know my images won't get used, sold, or stolen if I store them? As an on-demand printer, we must adhere to the same regulations and standards that anyone else does. To learn more about protecting your intellectual property, take time to read over one of our recent blogs, and there's something thick here. So that's probably going to go into the copyrights that we have available that you can kind of do. So we've actually had a blog, not a not a blog, but a first Tuesday live discussion where we were talking about intellectual property and having your copyright and everything for protection. Um, let's see. And again, that just goes, how do you protect my images from being copied by someone else? Only low resolution web versions of the images are shown. These contain a watermark, which is provided for protection. I believe that's when we had an older gallery. If you go into geo galleries, you'll see um, that now it's not the same resolution image as the print file that goes up. It's a higher resolution image, though, than the thumbnails that you see um, in your inventory storage area. So, and that's for people to kind of take a crisper look. And if you're unaware of what Geo Galleries is, we will take a look at there really quick. Geo Galleries is a gallery for our users to go ahead and use and sell their prints from. So some people are not quite ready yet to invest in Etsy or Shopify. So here you can kind of come in here and pick the print. This lets somebody see that on here and they can go ahead. Now, by default, we ask that all artists go ahead, and right now they're working on this site right now, so I'm not going to show you everything on here. We ask the artist to create 3 inventory images per, 3 inventory items per image, just so that the default inventory isn't there, which is basically prints by aspect ratio in, I believe that is on artisan, no, it's an archival matte paper. So that lets you have that. But this is what this is about when you're talking about that resolution image. This is what you can kind of see. And we keep them, like I said, they're not quite the file print ones of it, so that you can, it keeps it kind of protected. And if you wanted to do a right click on it on a Windows, it will not let you do a right click and copy. I want to get you that storage size, and I believe there was a thing I worked on that might have it. I'll check that in a second, just to give you the file size that we cannot accept after it, because and you want to look at your file size and see how big of it, how many megabytes it is. There is a limit on that, and I'll find you that answer in a minute. Um, let's see, we went through virtual inventory already. Something about wood prints here. Let me go back up to the top. This is again GeoGallery questions here. If you're an artist, basically, if you have a FinerWorks account, you can do the licensing and become a GeoGallery artist. So that's something that you can always look into doing. I'm trying to think of other questions that we get that we may not have right up here. Because I'm first thing I want you to know is how to get here. And again, if you joined us late, coming into the FinerWorks page, I'll come over here, support at the top, hit FAQs, and that will give you this long list of questions that we're seeing right now, that you can go. Because I don't expect you guys to know all of this from me just telling you here. I want y'all to basically be able to refer back to this. And this is where we're going to have a lot of the questions. Again, I suggest using Control F and finding keywords, but you can also use this search here, which will probably get you some of our blogs that James has written over the years to help you with this. I mean, he has so much information in that head of his that it expands a whole bunch of years on here on blogging. And he's put a lot of that information on here for you guys to have. And you might have a question, and there's an option to go ahead and put questions at the bottom in comments, and we try to get back to you on those. And if you don't get an answer, just go ahead, customercare@finerworks.com. Go ahead and address it to me, Melissa. And like I said, if I can answer it, I will. If I can't, I will go pick James's head a little bit and see if I can get you that answer. I think the next thing that we get a lot of questions on that is probably not on here is integration questions. This is when you're doing drop shipping and you're going to go through something like Etsy or Shopify, or you're going to have your website running it where you paid a developer, or you're a developer and you've made the cart on your own website. You might use our API integration. But if you go under order fulfillment right here, this is going to answer a lot of those questions right here. Now, our customer care team is not trained on integration, right? This is a totally different aspect. And with integrations, I've worked on this from the artist side, who's had to, make orders on their website, and watching this on this side as a vendor who's getting the orders from, say, Shopify. What I've learned is all of these platforms have integration tools, and they change little things on their website, just like we do. And it's making sometimes one little change that ends up breaking everything. And sometimes there's no way to know until it's in real world kind of situations here. And then you find out, well, this isn't working. This isn't working because this. And then there seems to just even be issues on, well, what kind of the end part, like you as a user, what browser are you using? There's so many, think of it as a Rubik's Cube in constant motion, right? And we keep turning and turning and turning until all of the colors match on all of the sides. And it's great for a little bit, and then something happens, and then it just kind of sets all of the different cube positions moving around again. And then again, it has to get fine-tuned to basically be in this all sides matching state. So it's a constant thing. And that is one thing with them. I've always had a hard time with integrations, but I'm going to say, look, for a lot of the times it's going to work. There are hiccups in it. We don't know. Sometimes we will try a lot to work with you. For instance, I think I have somebody on Squarespace right now, and he is having an issue. I've looked at his stuff. As far as I can see, everything he has done is set up correctly. And yet, when he has the option of ship flat, and we can ship flat up into a certain size, after a certain size, because it's like we could send you out 160 by 40s, you know, and every time they're going to be ruined because you want to send it flat. We'd have to build a whole entire crate for that just to do it. Economically, you're not going to want to do that. It would go in a tube, it would go rolled. And that tube is going to give it probably the best protection. So, but he selects flat, and for whatever reason, as it comes through the integration system, it comes as a tube. So I told him, look, until I can get that with James and figure out why that's happening, if you see it happening, um, go ahead and let me know. You send orders over, and I will check it personally. And if they have gone over to tube, I will change them back to flat. There's just little hiccups that are going to happen like that in integration. Sometimes we were seeing it with Shopify, and this is not a consistent thing, right? It's like what has happened if it was something that was easily identifiable, it would be happening on every user, and that would help us figure out what is happening here so we could fix it. The odd thing that'll happen with some of these quirks is it's not exactly the same instance. Not every user is experiencing, for instance, his shipping issue. On Shopify, sometimes the issue there would be maybe variance. Again, not consistent among all the users. So trying to narrow down that problem when there isn't a consistent factor to kind of look at, it makes it difficult, and it requires a lot of investigation. So sometimes that's why they don't work. Um, I'm old school, and I kind of have loved Excel. I love Excel spreadsheets. And sometimes it's just a matter of basically configuring your Excel spreadsheet. But for me, that's easy. I would rather do that. Then there's API for those developers on there. These are awesome. I think if you can do an API, that's the best way to go. If you have somebody developing your website and they're going to make you your cart, APIs are the best way to go. So this is what some of the information though on drop shipping. And these are basically drop shipping is when you want to send your products to your customer, you're going to basically have us fulfill it, and we're sending it to them so it looks like it comes from you. So you can kind of see the graphics there. Like your customer would go to your website, they pay for it. At your store here, you basically take that order, you pay FinerWorks, and FinerWorks gets the order. You have it as marked as drop ship, and we send it to your customer looking like it came from you. That's what drop ship. And when we get into discounts, people ask us these questions too. Do I get a discount? Discounts happen at different order volumes, right? So if everybody starts on basically level one, um, and that is going to be the prices that you see right there on there. Now, level two, when you're making 6+ daily orders on average, this is probably when you want to go ahead and contact us and say, can you please, for the last 3 months, because we need 3 months of worth of data. For the last 3 months, I've been selling at, I'm averaging about 6 sales a day. Can you please tell me what you can do? Usually, we can do at this level about a 20% discount on the paper and the canvas materials. Anything else, we kind of have to go look at and talk even with our vendors to see if we can get good pricing on it. Again, it's going to depend on your size, your media, and your order volume of that thing. At level 10, the papers can maybe go back to about 30% discount and canvas. Everything else, again, we have to talk to our vendors to see what is the best price. Often with framing, we're at the best price. Sometimes there's not a lot more we can do with framing because we wanted to make sure when we offered framing, um, it was going to be economical almost because, we want almost everything to go out framed. It would be great because one, it's just a really nice presentation. The markup that you can make on it is really great. Because I mean, if you ever go look at our products, and I used to work at another company, an art gallery where we offered custom framing. For a long time when I started at FinerWorks, I never used my employee discount, which isn't, you know, that much more on there, but I didn't use my employee discount because I didn't realize I wasn't getting a discount because it was so significantly discounted from my employee discount at the other gallery. And that was because we did not buy in the volume that FinerWorks does. So they really already price on there. When you go look at the frame pricing and molding, you're getting a really huge significant difference on that discount right there. It's going to save you a lot. Um, so I think just read on this page about some of this. If you have questions, email us. Integrations will be a little hard for us, but we will try to find you at least some resources, or we can tell you that one you might have to go ahead and ask Shopify on. We can tell you where to find your SKU numbers in your inventory made. We'll be glad to help you with all of that. We honestly want you guys to succeed, okay? Because if you succeed and you're getting in orders for your artwork and we're fulfilling them, it's beneficial for us. So it's great for us to see you succeed. Um, and we'll do our best to help you. I want to say we have three people in customer service. We have Ruby, Brandy, and Angel. And I love hearing some of the feedback from you guys on our Google reviews, just how helpful they are. And you guys have no idea what those three will do for you guys. They will go to the back, they will go hunt down the orders. They're there trying to track it. They have notes all on the side of their computers on different orders that they're going back and checking on. And it takes a lot of research time. They do that for you guys. They really go above and beyond, and they worry about your prints and how your customers will receive them. As far as like, is this something beautiful enough to go to this customer that they're going to like it? And so when there's an issue, they babysit sometimes a lot of your questions. So you're only going to receive really great customer service. It's really personable customer service that you're getting for us. Now, granted, we don't have that phone line that you can just call us up. And reason we did that is, remember that we assist customers worldwide. And as I was mentioning, a lot of these questions take research. The fastest way to get your question addressed is send an email, customer care at finerworks.com, and put in there your order number, uh, your info as far as contact, like, my name is, and this is my email, set all right. This is the email that went to the order. Um, as much information as you can put in there that you need help with, and they can go research what they need and they will go get that for you. Note that they answer 24 hours of a business day. So if it's Friday, it won't be until Monday they answer you. And sometimes their replies do go to your spam. So after you have sent them a thing and you haven't heard from them, check your spam folder, because a lot of our replies go there. And I'm lucky enough, sometimes I can see their tickets. And I'm like, well, I'll have somebody really upset that they felt like they were being ignored. I'm like, wow, you sent us 3 emails, and from anywhere, sometimes within 3 minutes, those girls have answered back on there. I can see their reply, I can see the timestamp. So I know that they've responded. And more than likely, that's the miscommunication, is that your your response is going into your spam. And let me see who we have there. One other thing too that we get, if you go into that frequently asked questions again, that I just thought of when I was talking about the shipping flat, go to support FAQs. We have, and I'm not kidding you, we get this a lot. There's people who feel if it goes in a tube and it has a curl in it, the print is absolutely useless. It's ruined. There's just no way on God's green earth that this thing is ever going to go flat. And I'm thinking, you must not be old school enough to have remembered a lot of curled paper, because I've worked with curled paper, I think, since I was in kindergarten, because you would always roll up your construction paper and take it home. Um, is it back in the day we had things called phone books and those were heavy and you could put them on. The Encyclopedia Britannica, that was great for flattening out your prints. Nowadays, all I do is I literally will get cardboard, lay them out. I've had to do it for framing. I've done stuff in framing where it has been in a tube for 30 years and had a curl in it. It takes us a little time to get it out because you have to like let it lay flat. Uh, but you can lay that flat. So in here, Control F, I just want to go over this last one, curl. Um, why do some prints want to curl? Okay, and then it says like, this is going to let you know why. It's that memory curl in it. The thicker the paper, the more it's going to want to curl. We print off of, we don't print in sheets. We print on rolls of paper. So they're going to keep that curl. And then once they go into the tube just kind of keeps the curl. So make sure that you flatten it out. It's going to come out. I guarantee you, just give it time. Lay it flat. Even if we ship it flat, there's times it's still going to curl because some of that media is so thick that when it gets to your things, as soon as you take the tape off of the cardboard, it's going to want to hit that curl. So know that. There's also questions on there like embellishing onto things. I think you can look under painting on paper. Um, we don't suggest on the paper doing a lot of the hand embellishment, just especially if it's a media like oils. Sometimes it's going to be trial and error. I suggest again getting your sample kit and trying and testing on that. We do have some customers that have really good success. Mary Jean Runke, for instance, does amazing stuff on her paper prints. Gold leafing, for instance, again, that's the stuff that people do to really just make their prints a little special. Things like that, and things like signature and edition prints, those are not going to be optimal for drop shipping because you really are going to have those sent to you. You got to be able to do all of that stuff and then send them out. Um, the only thing I can think of with a numbered edition is that you make each print, like let's say it's a print of 50, you're going to have 50. And you're going to have the one layer with 1 of 50, 2 of 50, and you print it out like that. And you maybe embed your signature onto the prints and send it all as a print. But it's not something that we can basically have them printed, send to you, have you sign a number, have them sent back to us and store for you, and then send as. And it, our facility just doesn't work, operate that way right now, to where we could accommodate having that kind of storage space to kind of save people's numbered editions. So for right now, really, that is not something that we can do at our facility. It's really something you're going to have sent to you. You send and have it sent to your clients once you're finished signing and numbering. Well, those are a lot of the questions that we get kind of almost on a daily basis. I'm trying to think of one more. We don't scan and we don't photograph at our facility. I'm trying, and if you come in and you give me a day's notice, if it's something that's small enough to fit on an 8x10 kind of scanner, I will try it. I try some photo techniques on there. If you also go onto our integration stuff here, you will see an integration with a company called ArtZip. ArtZip kind of helps you set up taking pictures with your cell phone, and it does a stitch. I guess behind it, it has the AI to kind of help with the perspective of the shot so that you get a nice straight image. But that would be another one. So hit on order fulfillment. Right under here, ArtZip, just click on the learn more. You'll be prompted to kind of start go on their app and do that. That'll be a best way to help you start to capture those high resolution images of your print so that you can get started on prints. We're always here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Central. So you can email at customercare@finerworks.com. We'd be happy to answer and help you in any way that we can. And I thank you for watching, or if you're watching this on replay, thank you for doing that too. And I had noticed I never took off our banner. I'm sorry about that. I don't think that was in the way of anything there, but I thank you again for watching, and thank you again for participating. And any questions, just send them to us. We'll be glad to help you. We wish you much success on your printing business.